welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can also catch me on my Facebook page, True Divine, and it is The True Divine for both Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, especially comments, much love to you, much appreciated, and keep them coming. So this is the free content that I put out, and it is for the 6th of July. Keep forgetting we're not in June still. 6th of July 2020, and it is part of the daily energy readings that I put out each day, and I'd select tarot cards to go with that energy, not select, they select themselves, to bring you a bigger narrative of the day, how to get around your day, how to maybe reflect on any energies that you encountered throughout the day, and it'd be able to make more sense of them, to be forearmed, prepared, forewarned, all of that and above. So for the 6th of the 7th 2020, the first card is the Ace of Cups. Now this, I think, came up yesterday, if not the card itself, the energy very much so, in that there's a new start, there's a new emotional beginning there. You've got to look for it right now, of course, and it's being veiled by the Eight of Swords here. And so again, the same limitations, the trapped feeling powerless for some reason, but getting yourself into a state of depression, maybe the past as well, still haunting you somehow, some way, blocking you from this gift that is waiting right now. There's much to do with the divine feminine as a gift right now, and that is for both male and female. I mean, the divine feminine energy within, whether that be that you attract that soulmate type energy that you can really flow with and vibe from, no longer be possessed by somebody else, no longer be trapped and honed in and feeling like you want to get out but you just can't get out. For a lot of people, something to do with their past, something to do with maybe the way they acted in the past, things that they did in the past, being held over them to make them feel trapped, depressed, powerless, in that energy. And so it's going in the mental circles over and over again, and you can feel this on the periphery. If this resonates with you, it's like you're in the middle in this whirlwind, this circle, this merry-go-round of thoughts, of especially the past coming back to haunt you, or so you think. You're in the illusion of the past controlling your now, put it that way, if this resonates with you. And you've got this on the periphery, and you keep seeing it and catching a glance of it, this new start, this new beginning. And if it isn't with a partnership at all, but it is with a friendship group, it's with something that you get overwhelmed with bliss by doing, and you keep sort of seeing a path to it every time you go around this merry-go-round of thoughts, of feeling powerless. But it's only a glimpse. You can't, it's not, you're not allowing yourself to get out of the illusion that you can stop that merry-go-round of thoughts. You can stop that feeling obliged because of things you've done in the past type of thoughts. It's your speed, you're deciding the speed of the merry-go-round of this spiral of thoughts that you're in. It's all an illusion, in that this is a gift there waiting for you, and it wouldn't be there, you wouldn't have caught sight of it, you wouldn't have connected with it if it wasn't yours to have. And so it's really difficult to speak to people sometimes when they're in the energy of the Eight of Swords, because you've convinced yourself often in this energy so much that you are physically trapped, that you are emotionally trapped, that you are indebted in some way or another. And so it feels very real. So to speak to anybody in the energy of this Eight of Swords, on top of, for as long as that spiral goes on, the more low vibrational you're going to feel, the less open-minded you're going to be. Saying it's all an illusion to this type of energy is a difficult one, because it can get quite triggered and offended, in that it feels so real because it's been convinced that it's so real. There's some kind of outside force, whether it be another person, whether it be judgments from a criminal past, because this is the Emperor, sorry, the major arcana, the Emperor. So whether it be maybe labels that you've gained from the past through criminal activity, through just being labeled in your community or by a certain circle of people. You've built a foundation on that, because this is the 4, and this is all about foundation. And your foundation has been built upon this 8 of Swords, these certain thoughts that keep having you go round and round in circles for so long now that it feels very real. It feels impossible, which is a sad thing, because it's on the bottom of the deck here is this divine feminine energy in this Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups, sorry. And so there's an entrapment of the goddess energy, in that if this resonates with you, you feel like you're missing a part, whether you are that goddess, and you feel like you've gone to sleep, you feel like you haven't got the same intuition or the same bliss in your life, and you've trapped yourself in various different labels, self-deprecating thoughts for so long that you've hidden your own wisdom, you've hidden your own energy so well from yourself that you can't even feel this awakening, this waterfall of the divine feminine energy stirring. But at the same time, you can feel it because it's in your periphery. Or whether this is a male energy, and you feel like you haven't had the opportunity to explore a divine feminine energy that you have caught sight of but can't quite get to, because again of all of the things I labelled before, maybe a criminal past, any kind of labels like that, labels just from the people around you. And you want just as much, if this resonates with you as the male, to connect with this divine feminine goddess energy. It's more than that though. This is very impactful in that it is a part of your spiritual growth on both sides of the coin. And it's an important part. And although you're keeping a firm grip of whatever reality you're in right now, having caught sight of this in your periphery, it might look all firm on the top, at the front of it, the front that you're putting up, but you can feel the rumble under your feet, you can feel the crumbling foundations, because you are trying to lift yourself out of this energy, and you do keep catching sight of this new start, whatever it may be. In particular, if it's to awaken a divine feminine goddess within someone else. Oh my goodness, the Emperor again. You're having too much self-control. And so there's a lot of self-control here, and we've got a 4 and a 4, 2 emperors. It's very powerful. The cycle, the infinity sign, the number 8, back to the 8 in that trap. You're not experiencing the next cycle, the next part of your spiritual growth, the next part of your awakening. So you've really locked yourself in somehow, some way. But because these are your thoughts, and even if they're the thoughts of others, this new start wouldn't be making itself apparent to you in whatever way it is, if you were also getting assistance from this 8 coming out in these major arcana. I feel like if you channel it, the energy properly, eliminating, neutralizing this, that all of a sudden, these depict Aries, so all of a sudden getting enough something that sparks you into bravery to lift yourself out of this mental state and actually start the next part of your cycle. That 8 and the major arcana cancelling out the minor 8 in the minor arcana of your own thoughts. So too much mind, if this resonates with you, far too much mind, because very quickly, once you lift yourself out of that mindset and dig into your intuition, your situation would change for the better with that Ace of Cups. And it would be accelerated, it would be quick. And it would bring joy and abundance and fertility of all kinds into your life. 2 of Swords. So you keep... There's the advice here to... having seen the blindfold and the 2 directions of the swords, so the 2 thoughts of which direction to go in, but with the blindfold hooking into your intuition rather than the mind, closing off what you see when you first open your eyes, the reality that you're in, that you feel stuck in, trapped in, powerless in. And it might not be your complete reality, it might just be parts of your reality that you're lacking in. But don't take too much time, even go off gut instinct, intuition. When you first think of whatever this Ace of Cups represents for you, and you close your eyes, whatever you see, go with kind of feeling, because otherwise you'll keep repeating this cycle of being hemmed in, trapped in. So the 5 of Swords. So it's not as if if this resonates with you, that I can say to you that because you're meant to do this, it's going to be without difficulty. It feels like for whoever this resonates with, it feels like there pretty much will be some conflict. There pretty much will be some arguments, some what could be seen as hassle ensue. But the thing is, even that is part of the experience, because to really lift yourself, whatever this 8 of Swords is in reference to for you, this cycle of thoughts, maybe to lift yourself out of it and have the lesson to not get in it again, is to go through this. We try and avoid conflict like this so many times when we're trying to rectify our lives, or when we're trying to see if we can be brave enough to get in our alignment that balances out with our growth of that particular time. And we get frightened of the conflict and try and avoid it and keep ourselves locked up in that cycle. So, but what if you were to think of it as the conflict even being part of the experience? Because to let go of that fear, to go through whatever the conflict is, to go through those processes, I'll just grab this card, to go through those processes, it doesn't want to be picked up, to go through those processes, is part of the experience. It's something that will remap those thought patterns, and give you yet another tool in your experience life box. So the next major arcana is strength. So major arcana all over this, and very powerful combinations, because of course the strength card is the number 8. That's powerful. And so with that comes the Ace of Swords. So absolute clarity comes through strength, and you gain that strength by letting go of this fear of whatever conflict you feel or think might ensue once you make a choice to follow your passion, to follow your new start, this new emotional start, whatever it might be, this new creative process, this fertile time in your life. It's a very powerful thing. It feels like to actually go through the conflict and actually be able to prove to yourself that you can lift yourself out of these limitations that you're putting on yourself with this 8 of Swords. It feels like it would almost be like a catapult regarding leveling up and expanding knowledge of yourself and others and your outside surroundings. It feels like it would be a exponential shift, growth, if only you would be brave enough. And maybe that's part of what makes you fearful. Maybe if you've been very stern about what your foundations are and what your role is, maybe if you've done that for a long time, then we do get complacent and comfortable. And sometimes when we get too comfortable, we can start to fear change that we can feel in the periphery or see in the periphery. And so maybe it's that feeling almost that you get when you're about to just reach a level of success, and you start to get frightened of, but what if I don't make a success of that success? Which is silly when you think about it, but we very easily go into that space, that fearful space. The Hermit card. So that feels like the end of the reading. Sorry I had to keep pulling there for clarification, but it's a very powerful day for some people for the people that this resonates with, it's a very, very powerful day. So the Hermit card, another major arcana, and again, it's beating the same old drum, but it's to go within, to find that inner goddess, whether that be within yourself, whether you're male or female, or whether it be that you know you need to awaken a certain goddess to show her what she is and what powers she holds. And through that, you would be invigorated too, exploring the goddess. Or it may be that you just need to go within and awaken that goddess within self and know the true worth of the goddess within. This is actually very important, and it feels very powerful in the climate that we're in today, because the change that it would make if truly the divine goddess was to awaken within humans, we would very quickly see a difference, a flip in the script, especially when it comes to the narrative of the over-patriarchal system that we're living under right now. It's actually a huge day if this resonates with you, and if this does resonate with you, I would love even a private message as to how you got around it, as to what your experience is of your divine feminine awakening, or indeed your exploration of a divine feminine awakening to her powers, and you aid in that along. because it's a very interesting day, and it's very powerful as to what I can see as being a huge reset and a huge solution to what we face today. A rebalancing, a recalibration, and a realignment of the gods and goddesses within. So, that was a reading for the 7th. Is it the 7th? No, it's the 6th of the 7th, 6th of July 2020. If you would like a private reading with me, you can book with any of the details below. Any energetic work, any spiritual guidance, again, same details below. And until next time, much love, be balanced, and as always, be whole. I love you all. Mwah.